Every day we get another absurd story about something that is being banned because why? Because they want to control us. They want to exercise control. It is not enough to have power unless you can exercise it and exercise it arbitrarily. So no matter how absurd it is, we have to pretend that one offended person, or in many cases, a lot of these people come out and say, well, I'm not necessarily personally offended by this, but I think other people could be offended by, using the colors red and green. So we're not going to let red and green even be used. As if that is, again, it is not specifically an attack on Christmas. It is an attack on our culture. As I pointed out yesterday, they're coming after Hanukkah. They're coming after everything, because it's Western civilization. They're coming after our history, our holidays. They're coming after our culture. They're coming after our country, folks. And it's no good in having that kind of power unless they can dominate you. I control you. Bow down to my arbitrary rules and worship me. Worship me. Yeah. You do what I say, I'm going to destroy your business. You do what I say, I'm going to shut down your school. I'm going to take away your child's education. You get mandated, you're going to get mandated vaccinations, or you're not going to get an education, as they say in California. And so you see this happening everywhere with every issue. And so at the beginning of the week, we had one radio station say, I think people in this day of Me Too would be upset with this song, Baby It's Cold Outside. So San Francisco radio station took it down. Now we have radio stations across the United States and Canada taking it down and so forth. But the original station said, well, let's run a poll and see what people think about this, because a lot of people started pushing back against it. They found that 90% of the people disagreed with them. 90% of the people said, no, we think you ought to go ahead and play this. We understand the context of this, not just the fact that it was done 74 years ago in that context, but also the fact that, this is just a gentle back and forth between a man and a woman. And then you had CBS co-anchor Gayle King jump into it, and she defended it. She said, why are we doing this to everybody? And I want you to see what her co-hosts, how they react to this. They are mortified that she would stand up and say something to the gods of political correctness. The nail that sticks up, as they say in Japan, will be hammered down. And so they try to tamp down very diplomatically. Oh, well, let's at first there's just this uncomfortable silence. Let me go ahead and play the clip for you. Let's video clip number 1.
The station's poll whether to put Baby It's Cold Outside back on the air runs through Monday. At last check, the votes were running more than 90% in the song's favor. Please count me in the 90%. I just feel I want to say to people, it's a Christmas song that was written years ago. I think you have to look at the intent of the song. And when you look at the intent, it's to me, a very flirtatious back and forth between the two of them. I think you can look at anything and read something into it these days. And I just don't think that was the case when they wrote that song and the intent of the song. And I think we have to look at that. I mean, I think Tony Moranti in the studio, who I love and adore, said, what's next? I saw Mama kissing Santa Claus. I mean, I
think we should have a Gayle. I think we should have a Gayle essay on this.
Am I the only one that feels that way? Am I the only one that feels this way?
Nobody
wants to say.
But if people are calling in because it's basically triggering this reaction in them, these are people who've been through an experience.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful. I totally get what you're saying about the context, but that powerful reaction has to be
Did you see in that video how she tries to leave and he grabs her arm and then she looks at her arm and then he closes the thing and says you can't leave? I mean, that part is somewhat coercive. I mean, I have to say it's making me rethink
this song.
Yeah, it is making me rethink it.
Not me.
I'm going to go back and... Okay.
No, so we just have to agree to disagree. I just think that it's a light, flirtatious song, and she clearly doesn't seem to be so upset. Keep looking at the whole darn song before you make a decision. So irritated by that.
So my guess.
People, sit down. We are losing our sense of humor nowadays, and I'm a big I'm a big supporter and big proponent of the Me Too movement, but I just don't think we have to nitpick every single little thing. I know I'm going to get hammered for this, so let's just move along, please.
Yeah, she does work for CBS, so she does have to make it clear. She does support Me Too. Well, let me make it clear. I don't support that kind of political correctness. We've seen how this has been used. We see how it's been abused. You need to understand. She said, let's look at the big picture. Let's look at the context. It's an old song. Let's look at the overall context of what happens in the song. Let's look at the overall context of what these people are trying to do to us. Let's get back in their face. I'm ready to go full Don Rickles on these people. Take no prisoners. Do not bow to their political correctness. Do not bow to their demands. Do not bow to any of this. Don't even bow to this Me Too stuff. I mean, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, I think he's red-faced at this point. I don't know if he's embarrassed or angry about what's going on with all this stuff. But, of course, you know, Rudolph, he's racist. He's bullying. It's a horrible story they were trying to tell us earlier this week. Now you got the story from LifeSite News. They picked up on this, and also it kind of went viral with Todd Starnes. We have that on Infowars.com. Facebook censored a picture of Santa Claus kneeling before baby Jesus. I mean, this is how ridiculous it is when we are trying to fight. And that's why I keep trying to pull this back to the bigger picture, folks, because I don't really care about a picture of Santa Claus with baby Jesus any more than I care about this stupid song, Baby It's Cold Outside. I mean, this is the Coca-Cola Santa Claus. What's he going to do? Offer the baby Jesus a Coke bottle? This is absurd. It's kind of hokey art. That was a hokey song. But we need to understand what these people are doing to us. Facebook shut that down. Facebook censored that content and said it was violent or graphic content. I mean, what was graphic about it? Was it full frontal Christmas or something? Santa Claus on this? No. What they hate is Western civilization, every aspect of it. No matter how trivial, no matter how cartoony, they hate every aspect of what we are. And these are the people who control the media, who control the universities, and these kids coming out of these brainwashed universities will be controlling our society. That's right, there's nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide. We're not going to immigrate to some other country. We can't run from these people. Their political correctness is revolting, and we're going to revolt against it. As they shut down this hokey picture of Jesus and Santa Claus. Maybe you like it. Fine, I'm not criticizing that. Enjoy it. I have no problem with that. I can give you my opinion of it. If you disagree with my opinion of art or music, if you like Coca-Cola Santa Clauses and you like Baby It's Cold Outside, go for it. I have no problems with it. I'm not seeking to control you. They're the ones who are seeking to control you. It's Facebook that labeled that violent, graphic content and censored it for a couple of days until the stories went viral, and then they uncensored it. But what is it that they have a problem with that? I mean, Jesus and Santa, are they divisive and hateful? Folks, when they continue to talk, as Tim Cook did the other day, we've got to stop all this divisiveness. What they mean is they've got to stop all dissent. There's going to be one voice, and they're all going to be singing the same Operation Mockingbird tune. They're going to talk about the same subjects, and they're going to have the same things to say about the same subjects. And no matter what they tell you about big events like 9/11, and no matter how ridiculous their conspiracy theory is, you are not to criticize them. You will not just be mocked as a conspiracy theorist for pointing out that their conspiracy theories don't hunt. You will be shut down because you are divisive. No, when they talk about stopping division, what they want is to divide and conquer the population. They want to conquer and destroy the cultures and the countries that they hate. So they accuse us of being hateful. That's the bottom line on this, folks. So yeah, baby Jesus and Santa Claus have got to go. But it's not just them. It's also dresses and braids. Girls who show up in Germany in dresses and with their hair in braids, you might be a Nazi if you do that. Kind of paraphrasing Jeff Foxworthy here in America. He says, you might be a redneck if you do that. Well, they say, you might be a Nazi. Or the parents might be Nazis. If their little girls show up to school in a dress and their hair braided. So you better call those parents in and check them out and then report them to the government. Yes, the Stasi have taken over Germany, and they're running the schools. The Snitch Society, a 60-page advice brochure for German kindergartners, instructs teachers on how to identify and deal with children from quote-unquote far-right families. See, they're going to have to eventually ban Heidi because, Heidi and all little boys with lederhosen. Come on, it's boys and they're wearing hose. Give them a break. Short pants. That's kind of but no, they're not going to allow that. They're not going to allow the girls who wear dresses to have their hair in braids. They're going to shut all that down. It's not just Jesus and Santa Claus. It's girls wearing dresses and braided hair. It's Alex Jones and me. We've all got to be shut down, right? Got to be shut down. Got to have no division, and they're going to be the ones who determine this. Well, what is the problem that they have with braids and dresses? Well, that might be a sign of people who are Germans in Germany, according to this group here. It's designed to help kindergarten staff detect and deal with children from far-right families in the wake of the significant, quote-unquote, significant increase in right-wing populist movements. Because, see, they want anyone who is part of the indigenous culture of Germany must be ferreted out, identified as a right-wing nationalist, enemy of the globalists, and punished, isolated. And so they say teachers are advised to be on the lookout for gender roles as well. So that's where the dress comes in. It should be made clear, quote, to what extent authoritarian and gender stereotyped parenting styles limit the possibilities of children and complicate their development. So if you are wearing a dress, you may be coming from authoritarian parents who are gender stereotyping you. Go get some new clothing from Celine Dion. She'll give you a little bit of a lecture about those that black magic she sprinkles on all the little pink and blue cradles and has the demons popping up in there. They said one such sign is of this type of thing. A sign of authoritarianism and gender stereotyping would be the girl wears dresses and braids. She is directed to do housework at home, while the boy faces strong physical challenges and drills. Oh, you got trouble. We got trouble right here in River City. We got girls wearing dresses, girls with braided hair, boys doing physical labor. Teachers are advised to hold face-to-face conversations with such parents. It's a bit much, even for Angela Merkel's party. Some of the members of her party are pulling back and saying, oh, let's not damage our party anymore. They said it's unbelievable that a taxpayer-funded brochure would identify girls wearing braids and clothes as potentially nationalist. Well, I mean, they are nationalists. That's not a dirty word, folks. Let's reclaim that. Emmanuel Macron, who's about to have his coattails set on fire and run out of town on a rail, was the one who was trashing nationalism. Now they're trashing him. And we should continue to trash him. Again, it's a member of the CDU, the ruling party there, Christian Democrats. It's unacceptable, they said, to tie children's looks with the political views of their parents. We live in a free country. We shouldn't let teachers examine and correct the political views of the parents. They're trying to pull it back a little bit. They won't go all the way and say it's okay for girls to wear dresses and have braided hair, just like they won't say it's okay to be white. Can't say that. If you say it's okay to be white, you're a racist. The basic principle is it is not the task of the state to check how parents live and what they think, said the family ministry, while they're doing just exactly that. They said this manual is simply designed to help the staff tackle xenophobia. People who are afraid of all those strangers that we're bringing in, all those young men coming in and, setting the place on fire. Are you afraid of them? Then you might be xenophobic. Let me tell you something. You need to be afraid of your government, especially a government like this. So what are they afraid of? Well, even John Stossel, who has bent over backwards defending the right of the world's biggest corporations to take away your fundamental human rights of free speech, is saying, YouTube is censoring me. He wrote an article on Town Hall. And John Stossel said, they've gone over the creepy line. He said, this morning, Google told me that it would not allow my YouTube video, Socialism Leads to Violence, to be viewed by young people. So you can't talk to young people about socialism because we've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for that. And he says it violates community guidelines. That's what they said. He said, my purpose in making the videos is to reach kids, to educate them about the benefits of free markets. It's why I started the Stosselintheclassroom.org, a nonprofit that provides videos and teachers' guides, and it's free to teachers. If Google and Facebook decide adults should be protected from seeing those videos too, then Stossel TV, which is his YouTube channel, will go dark. Yes, it will, John. and you keep licking the boots of the thugs who are doing this to you, saying they're big corporations and they're very successful. I don't know how they got that successful. I don't know who gave them all that money to get started with. I don't know who protected them all these years. But now that they've got a monopoly on the market, bow down and worship because they're a corporation and they can't do anything wrong. That's the blind spot of libertarians and many conservatives, that corporations can do no wrong. Let me tell you something. Our free speech is a fundamental God-given right, and we tell the government that they can't take it from us. But we created the government to protect our God-given fundamental rights, not just our free speech, not just our ability to defend ourselves, the Second Amendment. It's in the spirit of America. It is the basic founding principles of our country that we create governments to protect the rights that we all have inherently as human beings. And when the government doesn't do that, we alter or abolish it. When a corporation takes away your property, when they take away your rights are your property. You use government to stop them from doing that. And we've already got a Supreme Court decision, but the conservatives worship the corporations that steal their free speech, and libertarians. We'll be right back. Stay with us.